Hi y'all, it's Susie. Welcome back to my craft room. Okay, this is a sample of the pockets that we will be making today for our challenge. Now before I get started, I want to kind of explain that mine are not going to be the same size as Dee Dee's. And there's a reason that I'm doing that. But what I do want to do is I want to give you Dee Dee's measurements of what she used, and I'm going to tell you why mine are going to be a little bit different than hers, okay? If you are making these for a standard size journal, which in the US, that would be, your normal journal is about a 6 by 9. And it's based on a regular size sheet of cardstock or copy paper, which is 8.5 by 11 in the US, or across the pond, it's called an A4 sheet. So, I'm trying to grab a piece of paper. This is not really that size, but we're going to pretend like it is. And so, we'll say this is the 11, the long side of the paper. So that means this would be the 8.5. Well, what we do is we take those papers and we fold them in half to make our journal pages. And then this would be our 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, so that's what her pockets were based on. So that this sheet that she made for the background to, glue into her journal is 4.5 by 8.5. So she took her paper, and remember this is the 8.5 side. Okay, so she left the length on that, and then she cut 4.5 inches off from the long way. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so I wanted to give you those measurements. Now, her pockets are all the same size pockets, and they measure, not glued down, but she cut them out to be 4.5 wide by 3.5 tall, and they're all the same. Now, on each pocket, and you'll see in a minute when we do this, each pocket has a 1/2 inch piece turned under all the way around. So that is going to take her 4.5 inch size here, and we're only turning down one edge. So this is the 4.5. So this is going to take a 1/2 inch off of this. So once it's glued in place, it'll make this 4 inches. All right. Now, this way, it started out at 3.5, but because a 1/2 inch is turned over on each side, it takes away a whole inch because we're folding under 2. Now, so the finished pocket will end up being a 4 by 2.5. And what that will give you is pockets that, say, gift cards, things like that will fit in. Now, these are not that size. So, but if you want them so that you can have like a card, if you have a gift card or something to stick in there, then that's the size that you would probably want to do, at least for one of your pockets. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you, is that if you have a normal journal size page, that would work. Okay, now I want to show you some options if you're not making a full-size journal page. If you're using a kit, per se, and your pages don't, or your printer doesn't have it's not borderless, then you have to cut that out around the edges. And so you end up with a shorter piece. Unless you cut your long pieces in the other direction and you have more waste that way. But, I mean, it's not waste because we'll end up using, you would end up using it in something else. But you have to remember, you have to watch your directional pieces. So, if your kit has things in the orientation, let me get a piece of paper here. Oh my goodness. If your pieces have the orientation this way, where say you would fold it in half to make a journal page. And we're basing it on leaving the length and cutting them 4.5, based on a regular size journal. This time you would have to cut them 8.5 tall by 4.5 wide. And you could still get 2 out of this. Okay. But you're going to have, what, 2.5 inches at the top. Okay, left over. And so, and if this is directional, you know, if your images are directional and go in that direction like this, and you want to try to cut this, say, in half to use that, it's not going to work because your stuff is going to be sideways. I hope that I'm explaining that. You have to always watch out for your directional papers is what I'm trying to tell you. And I hope I didn't confuse you. So, my pocket ended up starting out at about 7 1/8 by 3 3/4 is what my back page is on this one. So this one is smaller than hers. Now these pockets started out at, okay, about 3 3/4, but then remember I tucked that 1/2 inch under. And they started out at about 3 inches tall, but I folded under a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here. So those would have been my measurements to make my 3 pockets the same size. I did not measure when I put these on. I just kind of eyeballed it. As you can see, there's a little more space here than there is here, a little more here than there is here. That's okay with me. I'm not going to stress out about that. You can also see that I forgot to ink my edges before I put them down. That's okay with me too. I'm not going to stress out about it. You know, it's just paper. And I can stick something under here, and I can protect this, and I can ink them after the fact. But I just kind of wanted to explain to you that you can make different sizes. You can make all 3 of these the same size, or you can make them different sizes. Having said that, I'm going to move on to making a piece. And I'm going to kind of use this for my back page. And this is going to be 4.5 inches across. You do whatever measurements you have. If you have scraps like I do, use those and you can make them work. You're just going to have to do a little bit of playing, and you may want to get some scrap paper to play with making your pockets. But you want to make sure that your scrap isn't wider than your page or taller than your page that you're going to put this in. So like I said, this is going to be about 4.5 by about 7.5. So that will fit in a normal scrapbook. This also would fit into it would be like a full-size page for one that's made in a kit. However, oh no, we'll just leave that at that. Okay, because I'm trying not to confuse you. So now, I have these scraps, and I can lay these down like this. And I can see that another one will not fit on here like this. But remember, we're going to be turning under a 1/2 inch on each side. So I think I will be able to get 3 on there. If I don't, I'm not going to worry about it. And although these pages are directional down here, I'm going to use this part. And I don't really think it would matter if I use that, because that is beautiful. I don't care which way it's turned. And this is the same way. This looks like it's directional, but I don't think anybody would pay attention to that. Either way, I think it's still beautiful. So, I'm going to go with the scraps that I have, because I think they will look absolutely beautiful anyway. So, what I want to do is I'm going this way with these. And let me see if I would have enough. I would have enough to make 2 pockets out of this one. So I'm just going to kind of fold that in half. And I know I want these pieces to start out the same width as this. So, and I said I believe that was 4.5. So I want these to be 4.5. And all I did was I folded that piece in half. And I am going to cut this off. I'm going to cut this edge off because I don't want it folded, obviously. I'm going to cut this off so it will be 4.5. Which I'm just going to take a 1/4 inch off that folded edge, which gets rid of both edges. So I only have to cut once. I might do that if I can find my blade. Okay. So I have these. Now, I want to be able to turn under a 1/2 inch on each side and the bottom. You can measure that if you want to, or you can do it by eye. Now, in her video, she used a scoreboard to score her edges all the way around. I'm sorry, all the way around. I hope you can see that. I hope I'm in frame. Okay, so I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to turn mine under to what I think is, you know, about a 1/2 inch. And maybe not even that wide. Because these pieces, like I said, were scraps. And I'm trying to take advantage of my scraps. So, now I want to figure out which end I want to turn under. And I think I want to turn under this end. Now, I've got that turned under all the way around. I'm going to open this back up. And you have where this folded like this. So what I want to do is I want to cut across here. Not at the corner, but almost. I mean, just almost at that corner across like that. Okay? And there's another, you know, way that I'm not going to try to show you how to do all that. Those of you who have been around a while probably know it, but for the new folks, you know, you may not know about, you know, doing your little angles. So we're just going to kind of go with it like this. And it doesn't have to be, you know, any kind of measurements on either side because you can adjust. And we're going to cut this corner off as well, you know, kind of like this, okay? You don't have to draw lines. I'm doing that so you can kind of see what I'm talking about for the people who have never done this before. There we go. So, in theory, when we fold these and we fold this, it all fits in there well. Well, mine doesn't. I didn't cut those perfectly, and that's okay. I can go back and take a little bit off. And this one's still a little bit hanging over, and that's okay. I can take some more of it off. And what we're doing is we're eliminating any bulk. But we want these to be up, raised up, so things will fit in the pockets. You'll have more room in the pockets, okay? So, I'm going to open this back up, and I'm going to cut off. Now, this is the other end that I did not fold. So, I'm going to cut these corners kind of like, and it doesn't have to be anything perfect. We're just taking that bulk off right there, okay? So, we're just going to cut those little corners off. Don't cut into that corner, just cut like to that corner. So that is what I would call my first one. Now, if you're using, well, I'll get back to that, I hope I don't forget. All right, so now this piece cut off here, so I know it was the same width. So when I make this pocket, it's going to be the same size pocket as this one. Well, kind of, because I'm not measuring these. And I will show you, I think, on the last piece, how to score your pieces. If somebody ever says score this and score that, and you want to, you know, mash those down real good where you turn them under. But for those of you who do have a scoreboard, you know, if you don't know how to use it, then I can, you know, do a video on, you know, how to use a scoreboard. But I want to show you how to score without a scoreboard. And again, I want to see which end I want to turn up. And on this one, I really don't think it makes a difference. So I think I'm going to turn up this end. And I kind of want these the same length. I mean, they don't have to be exact, but kind of. And I'm going to, you want to get those, your folds really nice and crisp. Okay, really, really nice and crisp. Okay, so now I'm going to take and cut these corners off where this little excess little square is. And again, do it at an angle. Same thing here. And then we're going to take these little corners off here. And, well, here. Okay. So, now I have that pocket. And it almost is right. So I'm going to take just a little bit more off of each side. Okay, and that's going to fold in like that. So these pockets are going to be close to the same. They're almost exactly the same. Well, that's pretty good. Okay, so now, this other piece of scrap, and I don't know if it was the same size as these or not. It actually was. And I did not plan that, I promise y'all. These were just scraps I had. So because this is more directional, I'm going to use this side. And I don't remember how long I made those. They were 4.5. Okay. So I'm going to measure this one at 4.5 as well. And I don't need to really fold that and cut the 1/4 inch off like I did before, because I just need the 4.5 inch. And by doing that and not folding it and cutting that extra 1/4 inch off, I actually saved a 1/2 inch because I just did. So anyway, this is going to be this pocket. So now, what I want to do is I want to take my back page and I kind of want to lay these down with them folded up to see if I'm going to have enough room for this pocket. So we know the size of these is about 2 1/4 inches. So when I lay these down, do I still have 2 1/4 inches to put my next one? And the answer to that would be yes. So that worked out where these pockets are going to be the same size. It's probably not going to be that way throughout the video. So anyway, I'm going to fold over my edges. Well, oh, I told you I'd show you how to do that. Well, I'll do it on the next one. Okay, and you just want to, burnish your crease down really, really good. And again, I want to see which end I want to fold up. And I think this end. About the same length. Yeah, okay. So I want to go in and cut my corners again, all 4 corners, but remember, on top ones, you're going across, to get them off. So you want to clip off all 4 of your corners. I don't think I clipped this one exactly right, but we'll see. All right, so you're just going to clip up to your fold line, remember? And then, on this side, I'm clipping down, away from my fold line. All right, so now that will finish that one, I hope. Let's see. Thought I had cut that one wrong. Okay. So that's close. All right, that's close enough for me. All right. So now you can measure, if you want them exact, to put them on there. Let's see, and I think I want to separate these by the pink one. And these will fit on there, if I eyeball them. And like I said, you can measure if you want to. Now, before we do that, If your pockets are all the same size, you can kind of stick them inside of each other for a minute. You might want to open them up because, you know, all right, and once you do, you can take your, your 1-inch hole punch and make a thumb hole just about in the middle. And you want to go, halfway or less. And I'm going less because my pockets aren't really that big. So I don't really need a great big giant thumb hole. And I'm going to punch those out. If your pockets are not the same, then go ahead and, do them separately. So I want to ink this up real quick before I stick these down. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get quiet on y'all. How is everybody today? What are y'all working on? Are y'all doing this along with us? Or, you working on something else? Let me know what y'all are working on. That's always exciting to hear. And are y'all crafting along while you, watch or listen? Because I do that a lot. I'll listen to other videos while I'm crafting along. Okay. No, I got one more. Okay. Well, yesterday was such a beautiful, bright, shiny morning. Today looks like we're getting a little slow start. I think it's still going to be pretty today. But we have yet to see. Okay. I think I want that in the middle. And I'm going to glue those on there. So, I'm just going to take my glue and go right around here. And what I want to do is use my finger tool and kind of smooth that glue out. And you don't have to do that, but I do because I do not want to glue my pocket to my paper. This inside piece. So I'm trying to kind of spread that out a little bit, making sure I get my edges really good. Okay. And then I'm going to glue this down just by eye. Like I said, you can measure if you want to. I just want to leave a little border all the way around. And I could have put the pockets in the other direction if I wanted to. It doesn't matter which direction you take them in. All right, so there is that one. Now, I'm going to do this next pocket the same way. And because I know one of those gift cards will not fit in these pockets, I can't stick them in there to hold my pockets open. And that's why I'm using my finger to spread out the glue, is because I don't have anything to put in there to make sure my pockets aren't getting glued down. If you glue down enough pockets like I have, you'll learn to either stick something in them or kind of make sure that you do whatever you need to not to do that. And I'm just leaving a little bit of space in between here. Again, I'm not measuring. I'm just, kind of sticking it on there. That looks like I got way more on that end than I do on this end. Let's see if I can move that down just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same for this. And then all I'll have left to do is to ink around the bead piece. Oh. Just less space in between again. I hope I wipe that off. I don't remember if I did or not. Anyway, well, we'll hope I didn't. I'll stick something in that one maybe. Okay, so now I'm just going to ink around the edge of this big piece. You know, I don't think I'll wait because that's still pretty wet. I'm going to do that at the end. So that's how that piece looks. And because you really can't, well, I guess you can see that clock. I mean, I guess I could turn the page this way and, you know, I could cover that with something. But, I mean, it sometimes it matters and sometimes it doesn't. Now, these could have been a problem had it really been real obvious. You know, so you do want to kind of watch your directions. All right. So, we'll come back to those. So, now, I want to do this piece. And this one is less than 4. So, this is about 3 3/4. And I have this scrap. And I have this scrap. And they're not the same width. So, that's a good thing. Because I want to show you some options that you have. This is pretty directional. I may even cut this down because this is pretty directional. So I'm going to cut this piece to match. Well, no, I'm not because this I'm going to be folding. So it doesn't matter. Right? Or I'm going to be cutting it this way. So that's okay. So, well, I'm going to try folding this piece in half and cutting it and seeing. That's going to make some tiny little pockets if I do that. Because remember, I'm going to fold under the edges. So if that's that big, let me look. I'm just going to kind of, and, you know, just kind of work it out. You know, just kind of work it out. And this one is like 2, not quite 2.5. So if I turn under a 1/4 inch, that's going to be a 2-inch pocket. That's not too bad. All right, let's go with that. Let's just go for it. Because this will probably prove my point down at the bottom. So, that'll work. So now I'm just going to kind of make this even on the edges a little bit. Not that it matters too much. I'm sorry I just shook y'all. Alright, and now I'm going to just cut this piece in half because I'm going to make 2 pockets out of this. And this is pretty directional. Alright. So I want to go ahead and fold these all the way around because I want to show you how I'm going to do that 3rd pocket. Because I told you when we started, you could do these pockets the same size or different. Well, this one's going to be an or different pocket. All right, I'm going to fold this. Wait, which end do I want to fold up? I'm going to fold up this end. I don't guess it matters. No, it doesn't. I'm going to fold up this end because I want my pockets this way this time. Just to show you it doesn't matter, you know, which way your pockets go. All right. So I'm going to crease those down really good. All right. And again, you'll clip your corners. And you don't want to cut into, you know, all the way into that fold, but just about. Okay. And that folds up nearly perfectly. Okay. So this one is going to go on there like that. I'm going to fold this one up too. And I'm going to fold this. Yep. Look what I just did. I just messed up, huh? It's okay. It can be fixed. All right. And I'm going to fold up this. And I'm going to fold up this. Okay. So I'm going to clip my corners off again. I'm going to fold these under. Again, really concentrating on burnishing those down. And this will be going on like that as well. And then I have this scrap piece. Obviously, this is directional, but it doesn't matter up here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, this was about how long? The only reason I care is because I do want my pocket about the same width. So that's going to be about, I think about, what did I say? 3 3/4. So about 3 3/4 is how big I want this, or how long I want this pocket. So I'm going to go about 3 3/4, and then I'm going to cut that off. Uh-oh, sorry about your hair, girl. I know. Spent a lot of time getting that done, and I'm going to chop it right off. Okay. Now, because I chopped her hair off, that's probably going to be the side I fold under. Now, what I want to look at is when I put these pockets down, and I leave my space, about how much room do I have left? I'm going to have enough to put this down here because remember, we're folding our edges in. So let's go ahead and do that so I can show you. So remember, once you get your your pockets in place, and this bottom pocket's going to be bigger, which is good because then you can still like put a gift card in it or notes or whatever, and you can stick tags in these, you know, all kind of stuff. You can put little notes, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my edges under. Okay. So now I want to cut off my corners. Can I cut those off at the top? Yep, okay. All right. It's good enough to me. So now, let's just set this on here just to see if it's really going to fit. So we'll just try to leave, you know, what I think is about the right amount of space. And voila, it fits. I even may have a little bit too much room, so I can leave a little more extra at the top and a little more extra, you know, between, whatever I need to do. So now I'm ready to cut my thumb holes. And because all of these are different sizes, I'm going to have to do my little thumb holes individually. So, you know, just a little ways in. And if you want to measure to get these exactly in the middle, you can certainly do that. Okay, now I want to ink around these real quick before I stick them down. I'm sorry this video is going to be longer, but I really want to try to explain that you can work with whatever you have and you can make your pockets the same sizes or different sizes. And by doing that, you end up using what you have, first of all, and secondly, you come up with a different look. You know, and so if you're going to use the same style pocket, you know, several times in your journal, it'll look a little different. So, you know, that's kind of the good part of that too. Now, I'm going to glue my top pockets down first. Don't really know why, I'm just am. I'm going to cut this off just a little bit. It's wanting to curl up. Okay. There we go. Again, I kind of want to spread that out. Main thing is to make sure these outer edges have plenty of glue on them, you know, because you don't want it to look like those are pulling up. Okay, remember I want my envelopes to open this way this time. So I'm going to leave about that much space at the top. About that much space there. Okay. So that looks pretty doggone good, y'all. And then I'm going to put this pocket here. And now this pocket is a little wider than this one. It doesn't matter. You put them in whatever order you want to. It doesn't matter. Nothing has to be absolutely perfect or no, there's no rules. You know, you make up your rules. So, you know, and whatever rules you make out, don't let them stress you out. I mean, you know, it's all adjustable. Just be willing to be flexible, be willing to adjust. You know, be willing to be yourself, you know, and give yourself permission to go wacky or rogue or whatever, you know. I mean, what we're doing, you know, just by doing this challenge, it didn't mean that I had to do everything exactly like Dee Dee does it. It means I'm going to do my spin on her challenge. That looks a little bit yucky, but I can cover that up with an embellishment. Okay, grab those down. And then I'm going to put this one down like that. And I think it's going to be fine. Oh, I'm so sorry I keep hitting the camera arm. I have y'all in a little bit different position today. And you're a little bit lower than what I normally do. And I think that's why I keep banging you. I'm sorry. I will not put y'all in that position again. And you don't want to glue your flaps down. For all you new folks, you don't want to glue your flaps down because then that would take away the purpose of having them to make where your pockets have more room in them to put stuff. All right. So now we have now we have 3 different size pockets, and that looks really, really beautiful. So, you know, it doesn't matter. They don't all have to be the same. So now I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes, and then we'll ink around it at the end, okay? So now I have another scrap, and I think this scrap is going to be about 4 and, looks like about 3/8. Let me see if it's that way, all the way up. Yeah, about 4 3/8, and then I'm going to cut it whatever length I want it. So I think I want to cut this one at about, let me do 7 inches. I know that my journal is not going to be the standard size journal, and this is actually going to go on a background page. I guess I could probably go 7.5 and then cut off some if I needed to later. I'll go 7.5. Y'all talk me into it. All right. Now I'm going to make pockets with the scraps that I have. So again, I'm going to fold this piece in half. And I want this to be about the same width as that because, I mean, you know, I'm going to fold that edge under, so, all right, so once I cut off about a 1/2 inch from that, we'll be good shape. All right, I'm going to set that down here, trim off about a 1/2 inch. Now it's going to make me 2 little pockets, or 2 pockets, not little, but 2 pockets. Okay, now I want to go ahead and kind of fold these and see what room that leaves me. I may only be able to get 2 of these pockets on here, or I may need to just go ahead and cut them down. Because these 2 take up basically that whole page. I think I'm going to take about a 1/2 inch off each one, just so I can make sure I get a 3rd pocket on there. I don't even care if it's a big pocket, I just want a 3rd pocket on there. That's kind of the purpose of this. But you can have, you know, just 1 pocket. You can have 2 pockets. You can have 3 pockets, you know, however many you want. All right. Okay, that's going to leave me room for a pocket. All right, so fold over, you know, about a 1/2 inch. Both long edges. Oops. Go here. And I'm going to determine which end I want. It doesn't really matter much, so I'm going to turn under. Let's make some more going that way. No particular reason, just because that's what hit me at the moment. Okay, then you're gonna cut off your corners, and you could do all your folding first if you're making all the same size pockets and you kind of know, you know, what size you're gonna need on there. So that'll be one of those. And I do want to fold this end because it's going that way. I don't keep that flower up, so I want to go ahead and fold that so I don't mess up. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be these 2, and I want to, oh, I got to cut these corners off. What is wrong with me? I'm sorry if y'all hear my dog whining. He sees something outside, rabbit, deer, who knows. Okay, so that will be that one. So now I want to kind of set these on here and see what size room I have left. We're going to leave, uh-oh, that's going to be a little bit too long. I can cut some off of that, not a problem. But I'm really checking to see what size pocket I need here. So if I'm leaving about the same amount of space, and I really don't have to, I can butt them up next to each other if I want to. All right, that's going to leave about, assuming I'm leaving about the same amount of space, about 2 1/4. So my next one I can do 3 1/4 wide, since I'm going to be turning under a 1/2 inch on each side. So is that scrap going to work? will that look funny? I'm going for it. So what did I say? 3 and, I think 3.5. Well, that'll work. So we're going to start with this 3.5 inch piece. I'm not going to leave her because obviously she's going to be directional, but this, I can cover that up with, you know, an embellishment or something. So I'm going for it. And then I don't remember how wide these were, but I know that I need to take off some. So I'm going to, so that's 4 1/4. So I'm going to do these 3 3/4. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off. Well, okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and fold that and fold that, and then I want to fold this end, right? No, I want to fold this end. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to chop these corners off. And let's see if I completely messed that up. Nope, that'll be fine. It's a little bit short, but that's okay. It's okay. I can trim this page down. But now that I've made this one this length, I need to cut these down to make them the same length. So I took off a 1/2 inch. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set this down and take off a 1/2 inch. And I need to take off about a 1/2 inch here. Okay. And so these are all going to, well, that's still long. What in the world did I do? I must have taken off 3/4 instead of a 1/2 on that one. You know what? I think, what if I put that on top? Does that matter? Those don't look like they're going to fit on there, do they? I'm going to have to make a little adjustment. I definitely need to make an adjustment. So I'm going to take another 1/2 inch off of the side of this one. Okay, then I'm going to have to fold this again. And cut this corner off. Trim this one back off. All right. So let's see what we got here now. I think that one is now the smaller pocket, so I think I'm going to put it at the top. And this one, and they will fit. So now I just need to put my thumb holes in there. And because they're not the same size, they're pretty close. Let's see. Yeah, I think these are pretty close. So I'm going to stack them inside of each other. Putting the shortest one in first. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but because the main thing is we're going to line up the tops so that I can punch, you know, all my holes at one time. And by the way, all of my pockets, my backgrounds are just single copy paper. You know what? I better not do. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. Or single copy paper. Now, my pockets are all double thickness paper or cardstock. So, All right, so I've lined up all of my ends that are going to be going that way. So see, some of them are shorter. That's okay. I want these ends to all be lined up. And I'm going to take my 3 layers together, put them in there, and make my little thumb hole. Up, you know, somewhere around the center. And that's going to be that. Okay. Let me see. Does it matter? Oh, that's kind of cute. I think I want that one on the top. Yep, let's do that. Let's go with that. I want to put the bottom ones on first. And I'm going to have to kind of keep these a little bit closer together, I think. Oh, I didn't ink. Okay, I heard you. Thank y'all. Thank you, thank you. Y'all are getting so good about yelling. Keep me straight, y'all. Keep me straight. For those of y'all who have no clue. Oh, I forgot to cut these corners off after I recut this. For all y'all who have no clue what I'm talking about is, in a couple of my videos, I was forgetting to ink before I glued it down. And everybody was commenting that they were yelling at me to ink. Ink, don't forget to ink, don't forget to ink. Well, I'm hearing y'all now. I'm hearing y'all telling me don't forget to ink, or ink, ink. All right, so let me go ahead and ink around these. And I didn't recut these corners when I cut these pieces off. I guess y'all don't really want to see the top of my glue bottom. Okay. All right, and one more. And this one is cut off. You know, I just think that this particular technique, you know, can leave it open to so many different things. You know, I can see putting like a little tiny one and then maybe a little bigger one and then a bigger one. You know, I can see doing all kind of things with these. So I just love this whole idea. So I'm going to put this one on first. I know I said I was going to start at the bottom, but I changed my mind. Okay, and again, I want to kind of spread that out, making sure, put plenty of glue along this edge. I didn't have a lot of room, so I want to kind of just center this one, but I want to just leave a little edge up there. Okay, and then I want to do this one, which I think is the more narrow of the two. That glue a little heavy. Okay. So now I'll glue this one down. Just leaving a little bit of room in between. Like that, kinda, sorta. Okay. And then I want to glue that one down, and I think that's going to work out just lovely. You know, probably when you make these, you know, you might want to put them under something heavy for a few minutes to, you know, make sure that holds down. If you're using, you know, PVA glue. You know, if you're using art glitter glue or Fabri-Tac or something like that, then, you know, that sets up real fast. And you don't have to worry about it, but, you know, I just don't have all that kind of money. So I only use that on, like, really special occasions when I'm using fabric or, you know, just something special. Gems, whatever. Anyway, all right. So let me glue this last pocket on. Like that. Oh. Oh my goodness, this one wants to slide everywhere. Okay. All right. And you know, that looks pretty doggone good. And you would never know that this was just scraps. I mean, you would think that I intended it to be that way. So, I think it looks just lovely. So now I'm going to go back and ink around the edges of my big page, just so it all ties in real good. Okay, so that's that one. I'll glue down and inked around, and I think it's really, really pretty. I forgot to show y'all how to score without a scoreboard, and I'm going to try to remember to do that in just a minute. Let me finish inking this. For those of you who don't know. Okay, there's that one. And then I'll ink around this one real quick. Trying to be gentle because this one's still wet. All right, so let me pull these three back in. All right, so these are the three that we did today. And actually, these pockets go in this direction. So, I think they turned out absolutely gorgeous. I love them all. And it doesn't matter that the pockets aren't all exactly the same size or in the same direction. They turn out beautifully. So I did want to show you that. Okay, so that's it for that. Now I want to show those of you, if y'all already know how to do this, you may not want to hang around and watch. But for those of you who don't, it might do you good to hang around and watch. So if you don't have a scoreboard and you hear somebody tell you to score a page, say at 1/4 of an inch, okay, or 1/2 inch or whatever. We're just going to say 1/4 of an inch for now. I don't have that big of a piece of paper. I'm going to take a ruler, just some kind of ruler, and mark 1/4 inch, and 1/4 inch. And then take something. You can use an ink pen that no longer has ink in it. You can use a pencil that you've torn the tip off of. If you have like a mechanical pencil and you let your lead in, you know, because you don't want it sharp. And if this is really sharp, you're going to be real careful with this. And I'll use this just because I said that. If you have one of these type of pens, you can use like the tip of a pen cap. You can use like a butter knife. Use your imagination to come up with something that doesn't have a sharp, you know, where it'll cut you sharp, or doesn't have a sharp edge on it that you can use to do this. So for this one, I'll use this pencil since it, you know, it is kind of tricky with this one. So, and I'm going to tell you, this is 2 layers, and this is probably going to peel this up a little bit because, you know, this is pretty sharp. This is not a plastic one. All right, so what you do is you put your ruler on the 2 little dots that you made, and you just go along there. That's it. And then, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there is a line in there. So, now you're tempted to want to go like this. And that's really fine. It has never really made a difference to me. However, what the rule is supposed to be is if you score on this side, then you fold it up this way. Your valleys become your mountains. So, you know, remember I scored that line in there, which made it a valley. So that's why you would make that your mountain. Okay. I forget all the time. So, anyway. What I should have done if I wanted to fold this piece under is scored on this side and made my valley a mountain. That's the rule. You know, I'm a rule breaker. You know, I mean, I'm a rebel. So what can I say? All right. Let's say they tell you to score at a 1/2 inch. Well, go to one side of your page, make you a little dot at a 1/2 inch. And you know what? I'll show you on the other side since I just told you that. So we'll be folding it under. So 1/2 inch. And over here, about a 1/2 inch. And then you'll take whatever you're going to use. This time, let's use the pen cap. Just so I can show you. You can use all kind of things. You don't have to have any kind of special tools to do this. All right, now I'm going to take that pen cap and I'm going to bear down. And I'm going to mark that. And now you're not going to be able to see it because I did it on this side of the paper. But I promise you, there is a valley there. And at that valley is where you would fold that under to make it a mountain. And that would fold under like that. So that's really all there is to scoring, is you take something that doesn't write and that's not really sharp, and you make your marks and you score along those marks. Now, if you have a mat like this or something, you can use something like this. So then if I'm told to score at a 1/2 inch, then I would take, and each one of these little places here is a 1/4 inch. So I would say, okay, well, that's a 1/4, that's a 1/2. Then I could take my ruler without having to measure and mark. And then I could take, you know, whatever it is that I had. And I'm just kind of bearing down on that. And I hope you can see that. That is a valley, okay? And then I could just fold that down. Or, you know, because this has a design, I would fold it this way. But anyway, to make your valleys mountains, you're supposed to fold it that way. But I know you cannot see them on the other side, and I was hoping you could at least see them somewhat on this side. So that's how you score without a scoreboard. It's really easy, and you can use just about anything to do it, so you don't have to buy fancy equipment to be able to do that. It's unnecessary. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, that is it for this session. We'll be back tomorrow to continue our 3 and 15. And I'll be posting a video in a few minutes on 2 special shout-outs that I was not able to do yesterday because of the asthma. And then I will be posting the unmolding of the jelly plate. So y'all join me back here in just a little bit for that. Thank you to all my new subscribers that have joined me. Thank you to all the subscribers that have been with me, whether it's been for a day or for, you know, since I've been here. Thank you for your love and your support. For those of y'all who are visiting for the first time, please consider subscribing. You know, and everybody who subscribes, run over and hit that notification bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Please, everybody, give me a like and a thumbs up. and leave me a comment below. Y'all's comments mean so much to me. I'm still not getting notified of all of my comments, so I'm having to go back and look, and that is taking some time. So if I have not responded to your comment, it's simply because I have not been notified, and I'm having to go back and look through my old videos or all my past videos to see if anybody's commented. So I apologize if I have not commented. I love each and every one of you. I'm honored to have you as my subscribers. Please join me back. Hugs and blessings to everybody. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.